Welcome to the Mental Camping Podcast, episode 7, with me, Ryan Hunter, aka the Yorkshire Lad Outdoors, on YouTube, Instagram. Go give me a like, thumbs up, follow, subscribe, comment, all that shit. This week, I'm honoured to be joined by the OG of UK wild campers on YouTube, Mr. Paul Messner. And Paul was kind enough to give up an hour of his time to talk about life as a full-time camping YouTuber, and spoke candidly and authentically honestly about his feelings of late and how the pressures of creating on YouTube and social media has taken a toll on his mental health. So go get yourself a cuppa and let's jump into this week's conversation.
Here we go.
At least you're not in Nipper's bedroom this time.
I know, yeah, it looks professional, doesn't it? Jen set all this up for me. We're in her properly decorated, very nice backdrop. Bookshelves.
I remember when we went out, she was on following week, you were decorating and stuff, weren't you?
Yeah, she's proper on it here. And then her eclectic book collection, Girl on the Train, 50 Shades of Grey, and a couple of mindset books and a Russell Brand book. So
far bigger than my book collection.
I know, yeah. Well, yeah. These are big books as well. It's like 200 pages in these ones. Bigger than mine. Bigger my books, may I add. So, Paul Messner, how on earth are you, sir?
I'm not too bad. So, shall we say. What about yourself, mate?
I'm good, thank you, mate. Welcome to the podcast. As I say...
Thanks for inviting me along.
You're more than welcome. For anyone who doesn't know Paul Messner, just go check out his channel. He probably needs no introduction. I think he's up to nearly 150,000 subscribers now on YouTube. He's made it his full-time gig, which we'll come on to. If anyone's seen any of Paul's recent videos, we've got some interesting discussions about that. But yeah, go check out his channel, give him some love. But if you're familiar with the outdoor camping videos and that side of things on YouTube, then I'm sure you'll all be familiar to Paul. So yeah, thanks for coming on, Paul. So we've been trying to get you on since I started the podcast, and we're finally here. So let's jump straight into the most recent one. So I want to talk to you about kind of how it all started on YouTube, kind of how you got into it. Because I know, like, I think you did it as a bet, your first video, I think you've said. And then kind of how that just turned in and how it kind of snowballed and has become what it is, and kind of what that feels like. But I think we just need to kind of check in with you and see how things are after your recent video, which is, I know it's become things have got a bit tough of late, haven't they? So how's things?
They're better than they were last month. I had a really tough time.
That's good.
So I made a few changes, but we'll talk about them a little bit later on. And then things are much better than they were anyway.
Yeah. So what is it? So I know in your video you mentioned, I think it's things have got a bit on top in terms of, I think, is it the social media side of stuff and checking in every 2 minutes? Has it all become a bit like a job?
Yeah, well, it's a bit more than a job, to be honest with you. So, I quit the day job back in October.
Yeah.
Things were going really well with the YouTube. I could have done it 12 months before, but it would have been more of a gamble because I didn't have any nest egg or anything to fall back on. So, so I saved up for 12 months. I got some money in the kitty and thought, we'll give it a go. And if it doesn't work out, can always go back to the day job.
Yeah.
But day job gets to 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, you down tools, go home, and then that's it, really.
Yeah.
But when you're doing something for yourself, there's never really an off switch. It's your own business. You seem to live and breathe it. And I wasn't making the time for me, for my family, and my friends. So, it's one of those things that I give up the day job to have more time, to have more freedom.
Yeah.
But I got trapped in this spiral of social media, I wanted to be the best YouTuber that I could be at the end of the day. So, you're going down the road of analytics and, following all of the advice that the so-called gurus and experts tell you to do.
Yeah.
And I think I lost track a little bit of why I actually gave up the day job.
I was about to say that. So what were your main drivers for kind of giving up the day job? Was it to have camping as your job? Was it to be outdoors, or was it for time freedom, financial freedom? What were the drivers behind it?
a bit of all of that, really. You can make a living out of YouTube, no doubt about it. But we would say we're not rolling or anything like that. But I just wanted enough money to be able to pay the bills, be able to do what I wanted when I wanted. And go on some adventures. So the plan was for me to give up work, then do a little bit more of the video stuff.
Yeah.
Because the channel was growing and growing, and I thought if I did a little bit more, I'd grow even more.
Yeah. Well, how many subs were you on when you went full time? Had you got to 100,000 there?
I can't remember exactly. I think I got 100,000. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And I thought to myself, well, the plan was for me to do that, go hard at it for 6 months, and then Jo could give her job up as well. And
right. Yeah.
Then we could go and do what we wanted to do. Kids are all grown up now. Our two youngest are 17.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't need babysitting anymore. And we could just go and do what we wanted to do. And how long is it now? 10 months later, Joe's still at work.
Yeah.
And it hasn't gone quite as I planned. It hasn't been one big adventure. I've been on plenty of trips and I've had lots of good fun. But it's also been really tough times as well. And and especially up here because I'm switched on all the time. I had been switched on all the time, and it eventually, as I said I think it was not my last video, one before, I had my fingers in that many pies. I forgot what pie tasted like.
Yeah.
Because I just needed to go back to basics. But that's what I'm trying to do anyway. And hopefully,
well, basics is what got you to 100,000 subscribers, wasn't it?
Pretty much.
Organic growth to get to where you got to is through your videos that you did from the start. So I suppose it could become counterproductive by doing something different to try and get more, because it changes it's almost breaking a winning formula, wasn't it?
Yeah. The dynamic completely changes.
Yeah.
I tried all these different formats, the shorts, the TikToks, the Instagrams.
That TikTok one was funny though.
I don't mind doing those bits and bobs, but what I've had to do at the minute is just cut everything, just to have a reset. But YouTube's been my go-to for everything. So even today, I've got the GoPro set up here, and I've YouTubed how to set my GoPro up as a webcam.
Yeah,
and it's been that for 15 years. So before I got into the wild camping as such, I was YouTubing videos on Ray Mears kind of stuff. So all the original kind of YouTubers that were your Dean Reeds, that kind of creator. And I'm not bothered with any sort of television. So YouTube is my field of knowledge, shall we say.
Yeah.
So if I want to learn anything, I go to YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been a little bit naive. And you go to these big channels, they might have 500,000 subscribers, and they're teaching you how to be a YouTuber.
Yeah.
But if someone wants to be a YouTuber, it's all search-based stuff. So you search how to be a YouTuber, and they've got millions of views and stuff, but it's only that one topic. And they tell you what's worked for them, but it doesn't work for everybody. And so I tried to, replicate some of the things that they were doing, and it just didn't work for me. It didn't work for my niche or anything. Mine's not just information stuff. So I like to think some of my videos are personality based as well, and
I think
just the way I come across.
They are, and you can tell as more videos, as I've watched more videos of you from like your first ones. So I don't know if you do the same on YouTube. If you find a YouTuber that you like watching, you watched all the recent stuff, and then you go back to the start, and you're like, how much they've progressed since they started.
Yeah,
I got into your videos there were how-to videos. It was all about wild. I think it was Is Wild Camping Legal. I think that was the first one.
Yeah,
I watched because I was shit scared about going. That's why I've only been to the Lake District. I'm still convinced. In fact, the only time I've been to the Peak District is when I went with you.
Yeah.
I was convinced I was going to get pulled off the hill by some ranger and put in the cells. So I think it was the how-to videos. And then you click with people's personalities, and your videos always came across as the most detailed review. I think I once put a Facebook, an Instagram story saying, I've just watched someone tell me about 15 different camping stoves, and I've watched it for 20 minutes and fully engrossed. And if you'd have asked me a year before, would I sit there and watch a person boil 2 cups of water to see which one's going to win? I would have said you're out of your fucking mind. But your videos went into that level of detail that kind of that was like your niche, and then you got your personality came through in the vlog style stuff. So it just was like a massive like winning formula. And I've done the same, and I've only got a very small channel. But I've looked at like how do you grow YouTube, how do you get more followers, and there's plenty of people out there who'll tell you how to get to 100,000 subscribers or 200,000 subscribers or whatever. But I think the only way to get to that is, unless some people strike it lucky pretty early days, but it's just through consistency of content and consistency of upload and the same type of content that's just repeated, just keeps the same audience interested. And I think that's what your channel has always done. Even now, I mean, you've probably give yourself a hard time looking at all the other different channels you've looked at, but your content still keeps coming through as you're the go-to person to look at for tent reviews, for stove reviews. And when you search that on YouTube, you tend to rank at the top. So that is something that really comes through in your videos. And I know when you put that video out to say that you were going full time, I quit my job and to go camping or whatever it was, I think the response there, when you look at the comments, was people were just absolutely buzzing that you were going to do something that you absolutely loved, like that was going to be your job.
Yeah.
And
I don't think there's many people. I feel quite lucky because there's lots of people do what I do, and I think there's probably a couple of people in the UK anyway. In the US, there's massive channels and stuff like that, but I think there's TA Outdoors. He does a bit of wild camping, mainly woodland stuff. Kent Survival, they're massive channels. I know Mike, TA Outdoors, he's full time. Yeah. I'm not even sure if Andy from Kent Survival still is.
He resonates quite a lot with the American audience, doesn't he? With what he does with his
absolutely, yeah.
Truck camping, and that resonates massively with the American.
There's a lot of people watch his stuff from overseas. He gets more overseas stuff, I think, than UK viewers.
Yeah.
Whereas me, I'm like 50% UK viewers.
Yeah.
So much less, but smaller demographic, really, isn't it? But yeah, I'm still happy with it.
You should be, mate, and it should be something to be massively proud of. I mean, to do what you've done is a big thing. I mean, I've set up a photography business that I'm trying to grow, and I've put in a massive amount of pressure on myself to develop that. Even this little small YouTube channel, I've had conversations with Jen last week saying like so you're pointing at something there.
I was just about to say 1,000. You've got 1,000 subscribers last week, haven't you?
I have, yeah.
Brilliant. Congratulations, mate.
Cheers, mate. Thanks very much. Yeah, Ash, who was on the podcast last week, he was my 1,000 subscriber. So that's why he won a place in the podcast. Where was I going? Yeah, so I was just, with such a small YouTube channel and trying to grow it, I was putting a massive amount of pressure on myself. And YouTube's not somewhere I even want. I don't know what my ambitions are for YouTube, to be honest. It is just effectively a bit of a creative outlet and to meet new people and to learn new stuff, which is kind of what YouTube is for me. But with my photography business, I can see YouTube as a big marketing potential for the type of photography that I do. So I do wedding photography and brand photography, and I want an outlet that gets my personality across to clients so that they can see the person who they're booking for their wedding or anything. But then that scares the shit out of me because I'm like, I can't maintain 2 YouTube channels as well as maintaining a full-time job, a kids, and a missus.
Yeah.
And the thing with the camping YouTube channel, unless you're full-time, you've got to go fucking camping.
Yeah, no.
Make a video. Do you know what I mean? So it's that you can't make a quick YouTube video in your back garden. You've got to go.
No. Well, I've done that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But you know what I mean? It's 15,000 steps. It's 2.5 hours in the car. It's a full night away from home, away from your kids, away from that. And then it's the editing and the upload. Yeah. And then to consistently do that week in, week out, it becomes a job to keep a consistent upload of YouTube, I think, especially in the outdoor world. It's very difficult to batch videos.
Yeah. Also, when your channel's pretty new, you've got to bear in mind you're putting all that effort in, all them hours and hours of work. Admittedly, it's fun to do as well. So but you don't necessarily feel like you get the reward for it. So you might get, when you're starting out, a few hundred views, something like that, and your video might be mint, but just because you're a smaller channel, the algorithm doesn't say, go and have a look at this video.
Yeah.
You've got to be current. If you're not current, it's very difficult to break out.
Yeah, it is. But so with the camping stuff, I've not uploaded an actual camping video for, I think the last one I uploaded was actually when we went to the Peak District, and I've just done podcasts after that because I've enjoyed the podcasts. I've been able to record them at home, get them edited, get them out, and I actually went camping this weekend, but I didn't make a video of it. So it was in the lakes this week. Camped up at, didn't want to camp at Sprinkling Town, but we ended up there because I just run out of gas in my legs. But I just didn't feel like videoing it. I just felt like having, enjoying the camp. Because I was getting stressed because we were losing light. My legs were knackered. And I was thinking, I need to find a pitch so I can record putting up my tent. And I'm like, I don't need that. I'm not coming camping to do that. I'm coming camping. I should be getting stressed because I'm losing light and it's windy. And if I don't get pitched, there's a chance I might end up in Buttermere.
I'd say that's where it's been difficult for me. Because camping and wild camping has been my stress reliever. So I go to work 9 to 5, whatever it was. And when I wanted to recharge my batteries, I'd pack my rucksack, head up to the Lake District, Peak District, whatever, and then just go and chill out on the hill and take my camera with me.
Yeah.
But now it's more, I can't feel that, it doesn't feel like I can do it without taking my camera. Because it's my job, the pressure's there to film it, to get a video out of it. And so therefore, I haven't got that stress reliever anymore. That's how it feels at the minute. But I think that's because I've been doing too much of the other stuff in between. So it hasn't been quite as relaxing when I've gone camping.
No. Do you feel like it's ruined your hobby?
I did. So I had, it's probably a month ago, I started to really struggle. 2 weeks ago, I was just sat there on the settee with me. I was just vacant. Joe was going through hell because she couldn't get anything out of me. And that's how I felt. I felt like I'd ruined my hobby.
Right.
That I thought I'd made a big mistake quitting my job. Because I wasn't enjoying what I quit my job for at the time, because I just felt that much pressure and it's silly because at the end of the day, it's just making a video. It shouldn't be a pressure for what I have to do. I should have on paper, I've got one of the best lifestyles you can imagine. Yeah. I've got a loving family, plenty of time on my hands. I get to do the things that I want for a job. Yeah. But for some reason, I'd put this amount of pressure on myself that everything just bubbled over. But I wasn't sharing it either. This was all locked inside because I'm a bit old school sometimes. It's pull your socks up, get your chin up, lad.
Yeah. There's people worse off.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. There's stuff. I felt really. For anyone that's seen the video where I said I've ruined my dream job. Yeah. I'm like crying on a park bench because I couldn't make a video. And there's people that getting houses bombed over in the Ukraine and losing families and all that kind of stuff. And I feel a bit pathetic because of that. And that's what happens inside your head for some reason. And
but you should never. And I sent. I sent you a message, and that when you said that, when there's people worse off, I think that's everyone's. No matter what you're going through, someone will always go, "Oh, but it's not someone else is worse off." And there's a saying, and I'll probably butcher it, but it was something about a man's toothache is more important to him than all the famine in Africa or something. And it was all about it doesn't matter what's going on in the world. When you're toothacheing, the most important thing in the world to you right then is to stop your toothache. And it's the same when you've got a demon in your head. It might be insignificant in comparison to someone who's grieving the death of a loved one, or who's just lost a job, or whose house is getting bombed. But the reality of the situation is in that moment, you're not getting your house bombed. So your most stressful thing in the world, your mental house is getting bombed, because that's what's on your mind. And it is difficult to address it. And when we put our problems in comparison to other people's, that's why we never address them, because there is always someone worse off. Always. Like if you lose someone through a horrible, if something horrible happens, there's something more horrible that's happened to someone else, that you can always say that it's not, in comparison, it's not as bad, but it's kind of irrelevant, because at that time it is the most important thing to you. So by speaking up and doing what you did, it was just, it's not your best camping video, but it's probably the best video to see for people on the, to see actually who's the person behind the camera. And this is a fucked up thing about how the algorithms work. It's got about 150,000 views, that video.
So much like that,
yeah. So, do you know, like, you can, to what your point before was, you can go and you can put all the effort in to do that, but you're just an honest video of you watching, of you speaking to the camera and people understanding who Paul is, has just resonated massively with your audience. And I think that's going back to the bread and butter of camping videos with Paul Messner, or reviews with Paul Messner, is just what people tuned in for originally. Yeah. Because ultimately, I don't have TikTok, and I'm pretty sure a lot of the blokes our age watching this are probably not bothered for TikTok. It's probably trying to attract a new audience.
Yeah. I never even really did it. I think there's about 8 videos on, something like that. Yeah. But it's just one of the many different things that I was just trying to do.
Yeah.
Like a second channel, like you said, I'm the outdoor sort of guy, the camping guy, the reviews guy. And the advice that I got was that I shouldn't really mix my camping vlogs with the gear reviews, because some people don't like the gear reviews, and some people. So I went down the route of setting up the other channel, started putting the gear reviews on that channel.
Yeah.
And then you feel like you've got to feed that monster, and while you're doing that, you're not going camping. But I never built my channel up that way. I just had the one channel, and I mixed things up and had variety and stuff like that. Camper van stuff.
Yeah.
There's stuff for the dog. Do you know what I mean? It's not all about camping. That's why I just called my name as the channel, Paul Messner. Yeah. It wasn't Paul Messner Goes Camping, or it wasn't even outdoors as such, but that's just what I tend to do. Yeah.
And and I suppose that you can get probably on your main channel, because it's grown so what it has done, and you probably get you've got a lot of people, the same audience, who probably watch now more because they're watching you, because so many people go camping in the same locations, probably because YouTubers go camping and they say, I'm camping here, and you go, oh, that looks nice, I'll go camping there and I'll make a video of it. So you can find 10 videos of people camping in the same location, but people watch the video because it's you, because they want to know what you're up to. So I think by mixing your content up is not a bad thing. People have said that, because when I've looked on from a business point of view, and I've looked at my Instagram, and people have gone, if you're a wedding photographer, just put your Instagram should all be wedding content. And I'm like, well, yeah, but I do other types of photography. But there's another YouTuber I watch called Taylor Jackson, this Canadian guy. And his YouTube, he's a wedding photographer, but his YouTube is basically all about him. It's all about him, and so is his Instagram, because he just says it's a marketing tool for him. So he wants to say to people, I booked your wedding, go look at this travel series I've made on YouTube when me and my missus traveled around Iceland, just so you can get to know me if I'm the sort of person you want to hang out with. And that's the kind of thing I want to look at with my Instagram and YouTube, is to get my personality across, as opposed to...
Yeah, I agree. You only need one portfolio of a good set of photos, don't you?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And then the rest of it is about the person that's taking your photos. If you're that annoying photographer who's saying,
I can be that.
I want you to sit now. Get on, get over here. You know.
Yeah.
You need to be almost as though you're not there.
Yeah.
As though you are, you know,
like a guest and an extra guest.
Exactly.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Exactly. And then not be obtrusive or anything like that. Obviously, there might be the odd photo that you get everyone together or whatever. But yeah, it's all about you. If you don't get on with like my lad, we went to my sister's wedding, going back a while, and the photographer there, he upset my little lad, and you know, my little lad didn't want to get in the photo, and he like, come on, get in or something, you little brat, or whatever it was that he said. Something along those lines. I can't remember what it was. Yeah. But he upset my little lad. And you know, for me, it wasn't a good experience for... No. You know, I wouldn't be booking him as my wedding photographer anyway.
No, that's good. So, apologies, I've gone off on a little segue about me there. Going back to success in YouTube then. So what does it look like for you? I know there's the time stuff, but what were you striving for with all these other things? Is it more subscribers? Was it more views, more money, or just more?
It's a strange thing. Originally, you know, you're chasing subscribers. Yeah. When you first start out, I remember getting my first 100 views, and then you get the likes and all of that kind of stuff, and then you get your first thumbs down, and you think, bloody hell, why does somebody hit the thumbs down button on the video? Yeah. And you get really upset about it and think there's nothing wrong with it. And then you soon realize that that's the way YouTube works. Some people like you, some people don't. And you want to chase things for different reasons. So I've got my little, you know, silver play button there. Yeah. I really wanted that silver play button. And then when I got it, it stayed in the box for 6 months or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Only since we've got this office, I've got it out of the box and I've just put it up there. It's never been anywhere.
It's good.
So it's just one of those things. But subscribers don't mean anything. I'll retract that statement. Subscribers do mean things. But
we'll cut that bit. Yeah.
Yeah. But there are channels that have got a million subscribers, but they might have 1,000 views on a video for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So it doesn't guarantee success. It could be that
I'm listening.
You know, they've got those from 10 years ago or something like that when YouTube first came out, and then their content isn't relevant anymore. Yeah. So if you're getting regular returning viewers is the main thing that I want.
Yeah.
More than you, obviously you want to grow your channel and things like that. But if you've got, you know, 30,000, 50,000 or whatever it is, people that keep coming back to your channel, then you think that they like you for whatever reason. And I don't care what anybody says. People say that they put YouTube videos on to like document their journey or whatever it was, and it's for their own viewing. You could save that on your hard drive if you wanted to. And if you're putting it out there for the public, you want some sort of affirmation that people like what you're doing. And there's something about wanting to be liked. We all want to be liked at the end of the day.
I couldn't agree more. And I think a lot of us have to be more honest with ourselves about that, because I've been guilty of saying that I just want it because it's to embarrass my kids. I'm like, well, there is that. I wouldn't look to see how many people have watched my videos. I wouldn't look to see if people have commented. And same with the Instagram. I wouldn't upload something and go, 3,000 people have watched that. Yeah. If there wasn't a little bit of an ego kick in there. So there's a big thing about being honest in why we do it. Yeah.
But that's the thing is, you know, you go back 20 years and, you know, someone like you or I could never have their 5 minutes of fame as such. You might be on calendar when the Princess Anne visits your school or something like that.
Or Crime Watch.
But now anybody can be anything. You know, there's people now that there's 14-year-old kids with millions and millions of TikTok followers. There's you know, there's a kid in America or China that reviews toys and is worth millions and millions of pounds. So anybody can be anybody.
12 million views they get on average. 12 million views.
it's a wonderful opportunity if you want to, not necessarily be famous, but just to share a message at the end of the day. That's what it is. You want to be heard, to get a message across to people.
Yeah, I'm guilty of this because I'll put a video out and I'll think, my video's better than their video. Why have they got this many people? Do you find yourself comparing, wonder why that person's got so many views over why you've done it, rather than focusing on, bloody hell, 50,000 people have actually sat down for 20 minutes to watch me do a video, as opposed to, then do you get that feeling of, but 150,000 sat down to watch that person's video?
Yeah, so that's another one of the little demons that's crept in recently. So it's me having my little wobble is big wobble, should we say? Because I'm still don't feel right, to be honest.
Right.
But I'm feeling better. But it's lots of different things. So you start to compare yourself because your growth slows down. Because I'd changed my formula.
Yeah.
It wasn't working as well, to be honest. I was still getting views, and there's many views. Yeah. But I was having to put 2-3 times as many videos out to get the same amount of views.
Yeah.
And then I'd look at some of the other creators who I think, well, my videos as well edited or whatever as theirs, and I'm in a lovely place. Why are they getting twice as many views? And you do compare yourself. And so sometimes you change yourself again. You think, well, they've done that. I might do something a little bit similar to that. Mm-hmm. Just put my own spin on it. And if anything I've learned, you've got to just be yourself.
Yeah, 100%. I don't want to be one of those people who just keeps saying quotes, but there's one that's about the comparison's the thief of joy. And when someone said that to me once, when I was thinking, can't even appreciate what I've got because I'm still comparing it to what other people have got, rather than just thinking, actually, things aren't bad where I am. And when you went back before about mentioning you want repeat viewers, there's a really good book, a guy called Kevin Kelly, who wrote a book called 1,000 True Fans.
Yeah, I've read it.
Have you read it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, he said you don't need fans of them. You don't need millions of people. You just need 1,000 people who are true fans and will subscribe to what you do and buy into what you do, and that'll make you a successful lifestyle business. And again, it just blows out of proportion, doesn't it? Because the thing with YouTube, which is a positive and a negative, is it's limitless opportunity. The sky's the limit, and you can
well, you look at, I mentioned TA Outdoors earlier on. He makes great videos. He's been doing it a little bit longer, but he's bought a farm, he's got his big truck, he's bought a woodland last year.
I saw that.
He's worked hard for it, and he deserves everything that he's earned. But you see that and you think, I could maybe do that. Not that I want to buy woodland or anything, but it'd be nice to have a mountain that I could. But you know what I mean. It's the sky is reachable, or you feel that it's possible to reach it, and then I think once you start getting those sort of thoughts in your head, if you don't reach the sky, or you can't even paint the ceiling sometimes, you start to feel a little bit deflated, and you shouldn't do, because at the end of the day, I'm happy just making my videos. It's just, and those people that watch, as long as I keep them happy, that's all that matters.
Well, that's it. The sky's the limit. You just got to stop pushing the ceiling up. Do you know what I mean? Just like there's have you heard Gary Vaynerchuk? Gary V.
Yeah, Gary V.
Yeah. He's like, ambition is to own the New York Jets. That's what he strives for. And someone said to him, how will you feel on the day you own the Jets? And he said, it'll be the worst day of my life. Because
he's got nothing to achieve.
I've got nothing to achieve now. And he said, I'll hate it, and then I'll want something. Yeah. So he said the fact that he thinks it's kind of unachievable is why he wants it so much. And it's what keeps him going all the time. But he said, it's true, isn't it?
Yeah, but I'd say he's one of the guys that I look, and I've listened to a lot of his stuff and some of the advice I follow. But he's one that says you need to do 3 TikToks a day. You need to do this. You need to do that. And it doesn't work for everybody. No. I can't deny his success, and I can't deny some of the things that he says. He cuts out all the bullshit. It's all, hard work. This is what you've got to do. This is how you get it. But it won't. There's no one formula that works for everybody.
No.
Otherwise, everybody that climbs up Bamford Edge and pitch the tent would have 100,000 subscribers, because that's all I've done. But they're using the same formula as me, and I'm using the same formula as some of the other guys. That have got 1 million subscribers, and
but a lot of
different for everyone.
Yeah, it is, and a lot of them have used YouTube as a marketing opportunity to grow their other already established brands. We've already established fans, and so they great gain traction, and they use. That's why Gary Vee. That's his business, isn't it? He owns a it might even be billion, I don't know, pound marketing agency now, where he represents rappers, and so naturally he's gonna say the lingo and the shite. But if he was a nobody, just starting from scratch, saying you've got to make 10 TikToks a day, probably no one would listen to him, because it's Gary Vee. People buy into it, and whereas like you and a lot of the, especially I think pretty much every single outdoor YouTuber has started from not trying to promote a brand. They've just started from videoing their hobby and hoping people will watch it. Yeah. I mean, thank you. I mean, it's pretty candid to share all that, mate. And just to feel shit doing something that you've dreamed of doing is a difficult thing to admit. And like you say, I think by taking your foot off the gas a bit and slowing down, hopefully kind of it gets back to kind of what you want it to be, because I think everyone does want it to be a success for you. But maybe it's just that slowing down that's going to help you. I mean, what's your next plans in terms of camping, outdoor stuff? What's going to put a smile back on your face?
I'm going to get out camping this week.
Brilliant.
We've got a nice bit of weather coming up. I'm only going to do something easy and local, just to dip my toes in, and just make it really simple. I'm not going to do anything fancy. I am going to film it, but it won't be anything too strenuous, shall we say? I want to get back to more of the vibe that I was doing a couple of 3 years ago.
Yeah, because then did you used to get excited about the filming side of it as well?
I still do. Do. I went out last week and I filmed the other day up on Bamford Edge.
Yeah.
And, I got goosebumps when I went on Bamford Edge, because it does it to me every time. Yeah. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed, there's people a couple of yards away from me, and I'm happy to stick my GoPro up and talk to myself in front of people.
I saw that. I was going to say, did you know those lads that were in those tents?
No. They were up there when I got there.
Did they have those? Did they have those silly rab tents that you got? That one? That one that you
these were just like your regular Tesco tents that they had up there. And they did a job. They said they were a bit cold, didn't they? But I think you just had a little blanket. But
nice one.
But it just shows that you don't need. They had a great night, and they were a bit chilly, but had a great night. So you don't need all the expensive gear to have a good night. Obviously, if you're in really bad conditions, you want kit that's going to be up for it. But other than that,
we'll get onto that, because I don't know about you, but if I see it's going to be 80 mile an hour winds, first thing I think is, I'm going to go camping this weekend and make a video. It's probably not what I think. I'll probably think it's going to be 80 mile an hour winds. I'll stay in my house where it's not going to blow down. And
absolutely.
I don't need a tent for that gear. And we said, didn't we, when we went to Peak District, forgive me, where did we camp? What was it called?
Grindslow Knoll.
Grindslow Knoll. We sat, didn't we? Said the outdoors is a massive leveler. It doesn't really matter. If you get the conditions right, whatever gear you've got, it's just, you're just going to have a cracking night.
On the perfect night, park bench does, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, yeah. So segue back off again. You so the filming experience on Bamford Edge, you got the vibe back.
I enjoyed it. There was nothing complicated. I had my GoPro on the end of a 10-inch selfie stick or whatever it was, little mini tripod, and that is all I took. And recorded the audio separate, and that was it. But there was nothing fancy, no drone work, no multi-camera shots, nothing like that. and it was a talking video.
Yeah.
My last 2 videos have been talking videos.
Yeah.
Where I'm having a conversation with my audience.
Yeah.
And telling them how I feel, really.
Yeah.
And surprisingly, me talking and saying how I feel has done better than me talking, saying what I think of a tent or have a look, how fast this stove boils water.
It is, isn't it? Because anyone can make a video doing that, but it's the personality that comes across that makes it worth watching.
Yeah.
It's weird, isn't it? You mentioned before that you said you're normally kind of a stiff upper lip, not one to tell people. And I think you even said in that last video, your mum and sisters watched it and like, what the fuck's going on with Paul?
Yeah.
Because they didn't really realize what had happened. But it's weird, and sometimes you feel, and it's nice because there's a community. You feel like, actually, I'm just going to put my feelings out there to be completely open to interpretation, or you get your dickheads, your skid mark 64s or whatever you call them, who can come in. But then that's where you see your actual subscriber base is actually people who are really bought into your brand, and they're not just bought into camping, they're bought into watching Paul Messner.
Yeah. Well, I was sat talking to Joe. We were in the living room, and I was opening up a little bit. I was getting a little bit upset because I was feeling sorry for myself or whatever it is I was doing. And I said to her, I'm going to go out. So I'm going to take my camera and I'm going to make a little video. I said, I'm just going to say how I feel. I says, it's not for anybody to see.
Mm-hmm.
It is just for me to get some things off my chest. So I'm going to go through the process, film it, edit it, and you can see it as well. Because I only wanted to show Joe. But I filmed it as though I was going to maybe show it to people. But there was never any plan to do so. I showed her, she bawled her eyes out. And she... But so did I. I'm bloody crying on the video, and it was hard. But she says, you need to put that out there. I says, no, it's not for the public. I says, she says, just think about it anyway. And she says, the only thing I didn't like as such is that it ended. We were talking later on. A week or so later, I went out and filmed a tent video.
Yeah.
I'm feeling a little bit better after I'd got some things off my chest.
Yeah.
And I filmed a tent video, and I came back. I says, it went all right. I says, I felt pretty good. I says, I'm smiling at it. Says nothing went wrong, because before little things were going wrong, like, and the frustrations would creep in.
Yeah.
And I says, I'm just going to release that video. Says nobody needs to know that I've had a downer. I've just been away for 3 weeks.
Right.
I says it can be our little secret.
Yeah.
Because there's a bit of me that felt shame or whatever it was for being down. I don't know why, but there's embarrassment and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so she says no. She says you need to put the other one out. She says, remember when you said that you watched that guy Nate's video?
Yeah.
How much it helped you and made you feel better that you weren't on your own. She says you've got a massive audience of people that you've had email after message saying how much you've helped them get through things and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you've got a target audience of people that might be helped by your words.
Yeah.
That might be able to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
But she says you need to do something about that ending though. So I was out. I walked Reggie and I had my phone with me. I just filmed a little thing, just saying that I'm feeling a little bit better now. I filmed the video, so that's why the little bit stuck on the end.
Yeah.
And I put it out there just because Joe not bullied me, but she encouraged me to do it.
Forcefully encouraged you.
Well, she had a point. She had
a massive point. Yeah.
And it's what's the word?
Liberating.
If I got, it'd be wrong of me to not help somebody else. If someone, Nate's video had helped me.
Yeah.
And I had the power to maybe help other people again. And I've always done that in the videos, tried to help someone out, even if it's just giving them a little hack on how to pitch a tent better.
Yeah.
It's all about trying to help people.
Yeah.
So I put it out and she says, bloody hell, your video is going bonkers. She says, you need to read the comments. I can't read the comments. I've still not read the comments. No. And wherever we are now, there's over 3,000 comments. And she says, when you're ready, have a look at them.
Yeah.
She says, and you'll be blown away.
Yeah. When you're having a shit day, read them because they'll.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've still not had a look. But when I'm feeling a bit more on top of my game, then I'll dive in and show some appreciation. But that's why I was meant to release a tent video yesterday.
Yeah.
But I couldn't. It wouldn't have felt right after that video just to release a video of a tent.
Yeah.
So I went out and filmed that little bit on Bamford Edge, just saying how things were better and how much I appreciate the people that have supported me.
Yeah, mate, I just can't praise you enough for doing it. And the people it helps, I've taken my foot off the gas as a result of watching that video, thinking the pressure I've put on myself, and it's not even it's not my income generator. It's I don't know what YouTube is. So it's made me evaluate kind of what I wanted. I think you mentioned you wanted time to spend with your family. That's exactly what I want to do from growing from my career aspirations. And some things you've got to park and some things you've got to progress with, and I have to take my foot off the gas with certain things, and that video was a big thing. And the other thing that the camping videos do, and this goes for yours, and dare I say, even if I've had a couple of comments on mine, and I know pretty much all the other YouTubers I watch out there, is a lot of blokes have got a stiff upper lip. And me and you spoke about it. It can become a bit of a buzzword, and it can become, having a bad day can be easily interpreted these days as having mental health problems, and you can confuse the two. But a lot of bad days that don't get spoke about add up to mental function disorders and everything that goes with that. But by going outside, by finding your videos and the other people watching them, thinking, and this is a backhanded compliment, there's no special about him, I can go do that. Do you know what I mean? He's not.
Absolutely.
He's not climbing mountains with. He's not got like ice axes and everything. He's a lad from Sheffield with a tent in the back. Athlete, does all his own stunts. But you know what I mean? And that's a get out. And if I hadn't have done that, God knows where I'd have been, because getting outside has been my switch. It's changed everything in my life, because it's changed my thought process. It's built different relationships. It's like my relationship with Jen is born because of me kind of finding myself and from going outside and understanding what I want out of life. And I probably would never have got into it had it not been for YouTube and not been for watching videos like yours. So they are little things like the butterfly effect, but they do massively impact people. And when you watch people day in, day out, it's like you said before, your 5 minutes of fame. Actually, people on YouTube are just normal people. And you end up, when we went camping, I felt like I know we've met before for a beer, but like, felt like I knew you. It's the same when I spoke with Ash last week. Never met him in my life, but I've watched his personality on YouTube and could have a conversation. Craig Eastham on Bushcraft, the same. And they're massively inspirational, because you just think, and when you do have a shit time, it almost goes, it would be unauthentic to not say things aren't great at the minute. Green on the other side, and the people who've bought into you will help either say to you, that's all right to feel shit, or they might you might get some people who will say, pull your socks up, it's not all that bad. And the other thing it does is it probably takes a lot of the burden away from Joe as well, because you've got 148,000 people who you've gone, oh, fucking hell, this is, things aren't great. Because I find for Joe, she's like, she's not the epicenter of telling you all the stuff that she's probably keeps saying and reiterating.
But if you hear it from the other 3,000 people in the comments, it becomes a more rounded, actually, a different view of it for you. So
you mentioned Jo. She was telling me that she got an email yesterday. So somebody says, "Hi Jo, I know this might sound this email's out of the blue." It says, "I've watched Paul's videos and I know that he's having a tough time of things at the moment, and I've seen the massive support that he's had.
Yeah,
but I'm just checking that you're okay."
Yeah.
Because, and she was blown away that someone's asking how she is, and she's been through shit for the last 3 or 4 weeks because of worrying about me.
Yeah.
She couldn't pull me out of it. Honestly, I had a week where I was like a zombie, and I don't know. There's a reason, but I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
And you don't think that. You think that you've got troubles, but even the other half, she's having to sit and watch me like that. And I know what it's like when you see somebody struggling. It hurts you, doesn't it? So
it must be hard to think. Yeah, it must be difficult.
She's a rock. She's a rock.
Yeah, she's an amazing woman. She really is. In the ones when she's on your videos, her personality comes through. Having met her, she's just a lovely woman. But like you said, the support and everything. But it's just that case of just wanting you to do well. And I think when you see someone you love struggling, and they're struggling at what their dream is, it's a difficult thing to think. You're thinking, well, probably the thing in the past would have been, don't worry about work, Paul, because it won't be forever. You'll be off camping. Do you know what I mean? You'll be paying the bills by camping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. She'd say, go and get yourself up on the hill. Yeah. It'll sort you out.
It'll sort you out, and you'll be able to quit your job, and you'll be able to do that forever. So it's just life, isn't it? You just end up, you put more and more pressure on yourself, and it's
that's it. You are your own biggest critic.
Oh, massively.
And I find that there's more pressure comes from yourself than outside influences. Because you are, for some reason, you care what other people think too much. Now, everyone wants to, like I say, wants to be liked or wants to be appreciated and stuff like that. But sometimes you need to just not give a fuck what anybody else thinks and just do what you want to do, what makes you happy. Obviously, you've got your family to consider and things like that.
Yeah.
Don't be a complete dick, but
good. Yeah. Get that on a t-shirt.
But it's not. I shouldn't be doing what I do to please an algorithm or to please Skidmark 74 or whoever it is.
No. Yeah.
It's. I'm doing it for me and for my family.
Because if success isn't a number, if success is freedom of time, obviously money to pay the bills so you're not on the street, but time, freedom, time to spend with your family, the subscriber count shouldn't, the constantly increasing the subscriber count shouldn't become a constant target. Otherwise that'll just be in a forever moving target, and you'll end up just I'm not bothered about that anymore.
So money's not everything.
No.
Money's not the driving factor. Obviously it gives you opportunities. So people say money doesn't make you happy, but it gives you opportunities. And as long as we've got a roof over our head, we can still at the minute just about afford to put diesel in the van or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's all we need really. We've got each other. And there's
a wedding to pay for as well.
Yeah. That's in 8 weeks, something like that. Yeah.
That's it. Maybe it's just a bit of beer fear, mate. Maybe you're still recovering from your stag do. Maybe that's.
Well, yeah. I've that's another thing. I'm off it. I've coming up to 2 weeks now. I wouldn't say I was dependent on it.
No.
Because I've not wanted a drink or anything like that since.
Yeah.
But it was let's say an anaesthetic.
Yeah.
So when you're feeling down, I'll have a beer to try and lighten the mood a little bit, take the edge off.
Yeah.
So I've cut that out at the minute. So not saying it's forever, but at the minute I'm off beer.
Yeah, I keep telling me the idea of knocking it on the head completely. We went camping. I went with my mate on Saturday, and I had 3 cans just purely because I thought that's what I do when I go camping.
Yeah.
I had a bottle of Corona last night with tea, saying that I was particularly sophisticated last night. I also had a glass of Rioja.
Okay.
Because we're having spag bol, obviously. But yeah, I just think, what's that doing for me? I'm getting stressed to hell at the minute about my physique and how I look and my diet, and I'm just a slob at the minute. I bought a fucking e-bike today out of desperation, so that's on its way.
Does that not defeat the object?
Well, do you know what? No, because I've YouTubed it. It can have better effects because my knees are knackered as well. So actually,
it also means you'll use it more as well, doesn't it? If it's comfortable, you're still getting out, you still exercise, you would use it more.
You'd hope so.
And it's probably knocked you back about $1,000, so you need to use it more.
Exactly. Yeah, fucking hell. I've only just remembered I bought that today. Anyway, but but that's something that I need to get out of. I need to start looking after myself kind of physically.
Yeah.
Because my head just falls to pieces when I feel shit about myself and slobbish and everything else that goes with it. But that's something I need to get into. And knocking beer on the head is a simple thing. I don't crave it. I do enjoy a can of beer, but no more.
I have to get rid of this stuff, to be honest. Yeah. This is a poor substitute, but I should really just drink water.
I mean, I don't think I'm the sort of person who could go out on a night out and not drink. I don't have that. One, I don't have that level of confidence. And 2, I can't stand people. I can't stand pissheads. So at least if I'm one of them, don't bother me.
They don't annoy you as much. Yeah,
I've often thought if I was sober and I saw me pissed, I'd knock me out. Just think, what an obnoxious dickhead. Yeah. So I have to be drinking when I'm out because other people just annoy me. So I wouldn't enjoy myself. But in terms of, I don't drink midweek, but on a weekend, having a couple of cans on a Friday night, it adds nothing to the night, to be honest. No. And it just adds more.
It becomes a habit, doesn't it?
Yeah, more fat on me. So yeah, we're off on holiday next week to Malta. So I'm not going to do anything drastic.
Very nice.
I'll wait till I get back. But yeah, I might have. When my e-bike comes, I can't be driving my e-bike pissed up. So I might knock it on the head for a couple of months. But just see what effect it has on me. In terms of just outdoor stuff without YouTube, are you getting out like with your mates? Are you getting out for walks? Getting up with Andy Beavers? Hey up, pal, if there's listening. What a bloke! I need to meet him. He's a
lovely man, Andy.
He's an absolute legend. His videos are I just love him. And what he doesn't know about the Peak District isn't worth knowing. He's
no.
Can tell you the name of every rock in the Peak District.
Yeah, he's a walk-in Peak District encyclopedia, isn't he?
Yeah. But I know you go camping with Andy quite a bit, don't you? Have you been out with him?
Yeah. I haven't. He sent me a message a few days back, just checking in on me, see how I was.
Yeah.
I just said I might be out at some point this week, so I'll give him a message, see if he's up for it. But there's nothing in the diary as such planned. It's just usually I'm out this week. He coming.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll be camping this week. All I've been doing is getting out with dog.
You got have you got another one, haven't you?
Yeah, I've got another puppy. Little Mabel.
Oh, is that no one knows that yet?
No, everyone knows it now. We just told them.
Oh,
no, that's all right. No, that's all right, mate. It's all right. No, leave it in. Yeah, Mabel we've got.
Right.
Yeah, she's a handful.
I feel like a breaking news journalist. Like I've got a scoop. I've got a scoop.
I was a little bit worried because Reggie's quite a bit bigger than her.
Yeah.
And he plays rough. But she's like knocking about all over the place now.
Brilliant.
She's like she's like a little Rottweiler, but she's not. She's a Labrador. She's lovely, but she's a handful. She's much harder work than he was.
Right. What was your method behind the second dog? Because we all know from that Reggie's a handful.
Reggie's a handful, but my sister, so she does a bit of breeding. So she's all registered with the kennel club, that kind of stuff. And she's got one of Reggie's full sisters.
Right.
And so she had another litter just. And when we went round to have a look, we just had a look, and Joe says, "We're not getting one. We're not getting one." But he saw.
So you got one.
Yeah, but Reggie was out playing with his sister, Ruby.
Right.
And they were having such a great time. And, he was loving it. And then my sister says, Joe says, we can never give him that kind of play that little brother or sister can give him.
Yeah.
And then when we came away, we'd already decided we were having one. We picked a name, all that kind of stuff. So,
yeah.
So we've got a little Mabel now. So,
fantastic.
Need to feed her up a little bit so she can knock him about a bit more.
Brilliant. Put him in his place. Maybe that's what he needs. And any van life trips? Are you getting out?
We went. So I said on one of the other videos, we went up to the Lake District just over a week ago.
Right.
A couple of weeks ago, sorry. Went to Keswick. And we're away again this weekend in Withensea with the family. So it's like a big family gathering. So it'll just be a bit of a chill out thing. So
yeah.
But other than that, it's just wait and see. I say Joe's been telling me to get out camping now for a couple of weeks, and I've not been able to motivate myself, shall we say? But now I'm feeling I'm up for it. I'm gagging for getting my rucksack out.
Yeah.
So
I'm always up
this week.
I'm always up for camping on a school night. So if you need some more motivation to drag you up a hill, more than happy to do that. But we mentioned Andy going camping with that. With your kind of YouTube ambitions, although things might be slowing down now, was there any kind of collaborations on the cards with any of the guys at the other side of the pond, like Justin Outdoors and the camping gear? Gear Shed was your camping channel, wasn't it? There's camping gear review. Luke, I think he's called.
Yeah, no, not really. I had the odd message here and there, like Dan Becker says. When he comes over he needs to come and have a look around the Peak District. Will I show him around and stuff like that? But I can't see me getting over to the other side of the pond. Not in the next 12 months, anyway. We'll have to see how it goes. There's still a lot more adventure to go on, a lot closer to home. So and to be honest, it's a totally different ball game in those places.
Or you can get eaten by a bear.
Steak and asparagus in my tent. You know what I mean? I can't cook that in my tent. I wouldn't know what I'm doing. I hate snakes. I hate spiders. I think we're pretty blessed in England, aren't we?
We are, aren't we? I couldn't be arsed with bears. Yeah. Could you be bothered with that? Putting everything up a tree.
No.
Thinking, if someone's got to give me a can of bear spray to say, if a grizzly bear comes for you, don't outrun it, play dead or scream at it. How about, don't worry. Okay. I'll get an Airbnb.
You can't sleep at all when your arsehole's gone like that all night, can you?
No, absolutely not. I'd just be on red alert all the time. I'd hate it.
It's not for me. It's not for me.
One of mine, but I'd love to go to Canada. I really would.
Yeah.
But even like the camping, if you could just tell the bears, not this week, just stay over there, then I'd love it. But no.
But they reckon the chances of coming across them is very, very slim.
Don't care. Unless it's zero. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'd love to see one in the wild, but not to the point where, it's going to come and eat you or anything like that.
Yeah.
From a distance, maybe, or behind a wall.
I think that's fair. Through some fruits and binoculars.
Yeah.
Anyway, listen, Paul, thanks so much for coming on, mate. I think
no problem.
We've probably got hours and hours more we can talk about, and hopefully, I think next time we speak, if you come back on, we can talk about kind of the journey, how it all started.
A bit more jolly chat next time, I think.
I suppose jolly is a word. I mean, this is the Mental Camping Podcast, so I think we've delved into some pretty deep stuff there, and let's say so many times you've been so honest about it. But to get to understand kind of how it all started over a bet.
But the thing is as well, I think there's two sides to mental health. We always talk about mental health usually when people are struggling. but it's all about you've got to have a positive mental health as well. That's the aim, isn't it? So if everything's perfect and you've got your head in order and you can control your anxieties and all that kind of stuff, then that is that's half the battle. So there's two sides to it. It's not just all negative and doom and gloom. And
it's not. It's health. It's like physics. Like your physical health. You go to the gym. You go walking. You eat well. Well, I used to, but we've discussed that to death. But you stay on top of it by going to the gym. And this is a thing with mental health. Let's call it mental well-being. I suppose is that it's still a thing, which it shouldn't be. It should be like, you don't go to the dentist when your teeth are falling out. You go to the dentist every 6 months to check up to make sure your teeth aren't going to fall out. Sometimes you go to the doctors for a bit of an MOT. Sometimes it can get a bit personal, but they'll have a rummage round and said, you know what, absolutely fine. Don't come back for 12 months. You take your car in for an MOT. We do so many things that are proactive and preventative for physical health that we don't think twice about, and no one thinks anything else about. And then when it comes to talking about mental health, it's normally because the wheels have fallen off, or you talk about a counsellor. I'm speaking to a counsellor this weekend. Fucking hell, mate, is everything all right? What's up? Is anything we can help with? Yeah, I'm absolutely fine. I'm just checking in with my counsellor to make sure things are all right. Talk about things that have triggered me. Talk about what's coming up and how I might be able to deal with them better. And we should talk about kind of mental health and mental health professionals such as counsellors, psychotherapists and everything else in everyday language like we do about everything else, because it should be a regular thing to check in on your health and well-being, and your head is the biggest driver behind all of that. So you're absolutely spot on. There's more than
if you taught from a young age how to deal with certain situations, then it makes life a lot easier as you get older, when pressures start to mount and things like that. This bloody thing, your mobile phone, that for me has been, it's the most brilliant bit of kit.
Yeah.
You can control your whole life with it.
Yeah.
But it can also control your whole life as well if you've got it in your hand too much.
It does. It's absolutely, you're spot on. And I think everyone who's been on the podcast has said exactly the same thing. Everyone's held a mobile phone up and gone, this thing is it's a good thing, but it fucks everything up. And I think a good place to finish the podcast is, you said that if you talk from an early age, I openly will always tell my kids, you can tell me anything you want. If you're sad, it's absolutely fine. It's an emotion. Just be sad. My little lad at times gets really angry and he cries about it. And I'm like, it's just an emotion. Like, it's just you letting it out. His sister cries and they're just learning about it, and just being open with them and saying, if you feel shit, that's fine, but you just tell people, talk about it, understand why you feel like you feel, and we can figure it out. And I know you mentioned in your last video was that with your older kids, it was always go to school, do well, get a job that pays the bills, retire with a good pension. Whereas now with your younger kids, it's just be happy, just do what you need to do.
Chase your dream that makes you happy, even if it's mucking horses out. If that makes you happy, do it.
Exactly. And that's exactly it. And that's kind of the message for everything. You've got to kind of live for today and not worry what's going to happen in 10, 15, 20 years time, but just kind of do what's right for you and the ones around you, and do it for yourself. Because ultimately, if you're not happy, the people who love you won't be happy, because I can only speak for myself, but when I'm not happy, I'm a complete bellend. So when I'm in a better mood, when I've been off camping, I'm a much nicer person to be around. I'm a better dad to my kids. And so you've got to do it for yourself.
Spot on.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on, mate.
No problem.
Appreciate that. And
anytime.
Yeah. Again, last time, if no one's heard of Paul Messner on YouTube, just go look at his YouTube stuff. He's on Instagram, but go give him a follow. Go look at his videos. If there's anything you want to learn about camping, it'll be on his channel somewhere. If you want to know the top 5 stoves in the world, it'll be on his channel somewhere. Backpacks, anything. And then there's also a load of camping vlogs on there as well. So, and there's even van life stuff. So go check out Paul and give him some love. Speak to you soon, mate.
Ta-ra, mate. Thanks a lot.
No bother. Bye-bye.